Hello guys, Trinson here. Today I'll be reading some r/entitled parents. Oh, entitled people. They just don't have any boundaries, do they? They'll target anyone in their path, just like this entitled mother. Entitled mother steals a kindergartner's backpack and claims that it is hers. I was lurking on the sub when I remembered that I had this story I could share myself. This story takes place 20 plus years ago when I was a baby, so this is secondhand from my mother. Cass, J, oldest sister. G, second oldest sister. Mom, a stay-at-home badass. EM, entitled mother of K, a child of unknown morals. When J was finally old enough for school, my mom decided to enroll J in kindergarten and G in preschool. The year was going to start soon and Mom couldn't imagine that either of them would need to carry very much stuff. So rather than buy backpacks, she decided to make a pair for my sisters. They were identical, to a limit a human can produce, with the exception of being monogram for each sister. A huge J and G were sewn on the back side of the bags, using the zigzag setting on my mom's sewing machine. First week of school happens and my mom is waiting in the outdoor cafeteria with all the other parents, waiting for J and for G to get out of class. G comes out but is missing her backpack. They couldn't find it anywhere and G doesn't know what happened. There is nothing they could do, so they all go home with my mom upset that it's missing. For the time being, she can't make another bag for G, so they scrape something together. Fast forward a day or so in the future, Mom and J are waiting for G again. Mom is sitting at the lunch table far away from another mother, entitled Mom, who is waiting with a stroller for her own kid. The kids get let out and Mom notices that the woman's child, K, has a backpack strikingly similar to J's. K leaves the bag by the stroller and entitled mother and K leave the stroller to do something. Mom stands up and marches over to the stroller and confirms that this is G's bag. She turns it around to a monogram, and the trends have all been cut and pulled out. My mom is furious, because this is not the case of K unknowingly taking the bag, and entitled mother not being observant. Entitled mother knowingly removed the threads of the backpack, and knowingly stole it from another child. Mom unzips the bag, dumps everything out of it, and into the stroller with an aggressive shake, and marches back to join J again. In between J finding my mom, entitled mother and K return to the stroller and discover the mess. Entitled mother scans around and locates the backpack with Mom. She comes up to her and demands that she returns K's bag. Mom challenges her, correcting that it belongs to J. Entitled mother realizes that she's been caught, and to preserve her dignity without having to apologize, scowls and returns to the stroller with K and leaves my mom alone like a rational person. No. She doubles down. Entitled mother objects, saying how she bought that bag specially for K. Mom obviously refuses. She declares that the bag is G's and proclaims that she will not, under any circumstances, be giving her the bag. Entitled mother argues and then leaves, returning with the principal, who doesn't need to interact much. For your reading comfort, here's a mock dialogue of how the conversation went. Entitled mother, there she is. She stole my K's backpack and dumped everything out. Mom, this is G's bag. G lost her bag this week. It's handmade, see? Pointing out the handiwork. Entitled mother, no, I made this bag for K. Mom, you said that you bought it and explain why it looks identical to J's bag. If you supposedly made it, showing the pair together. Entitled mother huffs, I brought a fabric specially for K. Everything that we bought the same kind and used the same pattern. Your daughter lost her bag and you think you can just take K's bag because it looks similar. Mom, oh yeah? What's K's name? Entitled mother, non-G name. Mom, then why does it still have a letter G on the back, from where you ripped out the seams? She turns it around and shows the principal the back. Even though the threads had been pulled, the holes from the stitches were still there, in the shape of a G. And because my mom used a tight zigzag stitch, it was very easy to trace the shape. See, it's a G for G's name, just like on J's backpack. Entitled mother doesn't have anything to come back with that. She never admits to stealing it and continues to argue with some convoluted explanation, before deciding to be a bigger person, and gives up with parting words similar to, if you're gonna lie this much and make a big deal of it, then fine, have that stupid backpack. My sister got her bag back and never had any more trouble. My siblings also gained an insane level of faith in my mother, that if anything was ever wrong, Mom was going to make it right. I learned this story from G was reminiscing about how cool Mom was back then, and Mom retold the story. Take my child to Disney for me. This isn't as crazy as the other stories, but I'll leave this here anyway. So, my family is going to Southern California. For my mom and I, this is our second time. For my boyfriend, dad, brother, and grandmother, it is their first time going. So my mom and I had set everything up. We only have one set of passes to buy, and are waiting for the next payday to do this. My family has agreed that everyone has to pay for their share of the trip, and we got our flights free using points. My family is not rich by any means. This would be my grandma's last out of the country trip. We're Canadian. Since her health is getting worse and her insurance is going up, my aunt came to town to visit just yesterday with her 4-year-old daughter. My aunt is a choosing beggar and entitled parent, and my grandma gives in to her a lot because my aunt is my grandma's stepdaughter. EA, entitled aunt. G, grandma. C, cousin. Entitled aunt's daughter. Me. Entitled aunt cannot stay with my family because we are full house and no extra rooms. So she stayed with grandma. We never knew she was in town until later, when grandma told me what happened. Grandma told entitled aunt we won't be coming to cousin's 5th birthday because it was a 3-hour drive from us the day after we fly back from Cali. Entitled aunt, California. Are you going to Disneyland? Grandma, yes, but only for a couple days. Entitled aunt, why don't I get her passport sorted and you can take her with you? Grandma, we're leaving in less than a month. Entitled aunt, it's okay, I'll pay for the passport, you can pay for the rest, right? I can't get time off work. Grandma, you're joking, right? Entitled aunt, disappointed. Yeah, I thought it would be funnier. Luckily, she stood down, because she knew that if Grandma wouldn't go for it, the rest of the family surely wouldn't. No one in the family got to go to Disney young, and when I went with my mom at 14, I paid my half. This is everyone else's first time, so none of us want to spend it looking after a child who isn't ours. We'll remember it once she's older. And we'll get tired because she will only be interested in 1/3 of the activities we're doing. Besides, she still takes naps at noon. We can't leave what we're doing to drive back to our hotel to put her down and then go back once she's rested. Also, we don't have room in our accommodations for her. How dare you rescue my child? I was a head lifeguard at a water park for 4 years, so I have definitely seen my fair share of entitled parents. But one entitled mother almost let her child drown because of it. Me, S, supervisor. EM, entitled mom. C, child. At the park I worked at, we had a bunch of slides, a wave pool, and one regular swimming pool that had these little plastic water slides that empty into it, that we also use for training. The shallow end is about 3 feet and the deep end is 10. But the water slides empty into the 4 to 5 feet end. A lot of people underestimate the depth, mostly parents and young children, and find themselves having to swim back to the wall instead of standing. I'm only 5'2", so even I have to swim from that slide. Because of the depth, we require everyone under 4'8" to wear a life jacket no matter where they are in the pool. State law. As you can imagine, a lot of parents aren't happy with this, and though we have free life jackets as courtesy, on very busy days, we run out. But our biggest issue comes from the parents who are convinced their child is the next Michael Phelps. On this particular day, it was fairly busy, and I've enlisted a couple of my lifeguards to look for life jackets that were left in the cabanas, bathroom, etc., instead of hung back up. A little kid came running to the pool and I noticed his height, about 2 inches too short. Poor little guy. Me? Hey buddy, I'm sorry, but you can't swim in this pool without a life jacket. Entitled mom, walking up behind him. Oh, it's alright, he can swim. Me? Unfortunately, because of the state law, I can't let him in the water without a life jacket. Entitled mom, he's on the swim team, he's perfectly fine. Me? I'm sorry ma'am, it's not a rule, it's law. She rolls her eyes and huffs off, but managed to find her kid a life jacket, so I take my eyes off of them and pay more attention to my zone. Regular irritated parent, no big deal. Fast forward about 10 minutes, and I see the kid climb up the slide. It's the child. So I whistle at him and take him to his mother and again say, Ma'am, I understand he can probably swim, but he cannot go down the slide or go in the pool without a life jacket. Entitled mom, absolutely not. I'm not putting that death trap back on my child. Me, I understand, but entitled mom, he can swim perfectly fine. He's on the swim team. He's fine. Me began to get irritated. I legally cannot let your child touch the water if he does not have a life jacket on. Entitled mom, no, it was choking him. I will not have my child choking and dying. Goodbye. I almost cracked up, but she walked off, dragging her kid with her, so I rolled my eyes and didn't think anything of it. Every 2 to 30 minutes, we rotate position as lifeguard to keep our eyes fresh and our energy up. So our lovely entitled mother decided to wait until we rotated to try and bring her child back. Unfortunately for her, I just moved to the other side of the pool. About 10 minutes into the rotation, I noticed a distressed swimmer, swimming but clearly struggling and barely moving. It's a stage before active drowning. About 5 feet from the slide, I whistle, jump in, yank the swimmer onto my tube, and lo and behold, it's the same child. Now I'm mad, but not as mad as entitled mother. She's sitting in the lounge chair on the side of the pool, not paying attention at all. Side note, Parents, lifeguards are not your babysitters. I help the kid out and drag him to his mother. Me? Ma'am, this is the third time I have tried to talk to you. Your child almost drowned in the pool because he... Entitled mom, horrified. Did you touch my child? Me? I rescued your child. Entitled mom, I did not give you permission to save my child. You have no right to touch him. You should have asked me first before just grabbing him like that. Me? I didn't see you anywhere. You were not watching your child. So I had to make a decision. Entitled mom, yes, I was. He was swimming fine. How dare you save him just to prove your point? Just admit you're a little lifeguard power trip. I want to speak to your supervisor. I love when people want to speak to a supervisor because at this water park, they are almost always on the lifeguard side, so my supervisor comes over. Entitled mom, this lifeguard won't let my child swim in the pool. She gave him a life jacket that was choking him and then dragged him out of the pool without my permission. Supervisor, your child is too short. Entitled mom, but he's on a swim team. If he can swim, he shouldn't have to wear one. Now, I have been having the same conversation over and over for about 45 minutes at this point. My supervisor asked her to give him a minute and move to the side to talk to me. Sometimes, if the children are near the correct height, we let them swim if there are no adequate life jackets and they seem like strong swimmers, and have a reliable adult with them. So my supervisor decides to extend this privilege to Entitled mom. Entitled mom, thank you. I can't believe it took this long for you to see sense. I hope she gets written up at very least for ruining my son's day. Supervisor, she was doing her job, but I'm sorry I made things difficult for you. Entitled mom goes back to chatting with her friends and her son runs happily back to the slide, where he nearly drowned once already, and slides down it, and surely enough, he starts drowning. But I'm not allowed to rescue her son because he can swim, right? He's on a swim team. He's great. I'm actually about to jump in when my supervisor stops me and gets the mom's attention. Supervisor? Ma'am, your son is drowning. Entitled mom, rolling her eyes and walking over to the edge of the pool. He is not. He's swimming fine. By this point, the son has moved from distressed swimming to active drowning. His mouth is bobbing up and down over the water. His eyes are wide, arms desperately grabbing for something, but he isn't moving anywhere. And no, none of the other patrons noticed because they were all doing their own thing, and drowning is very quiet and uneventful. Now, I'm getting antsy. I don't want a kid drowning on my watch, even if I don't have permission from the parent to rescue them. Entitled mom's friend comes over to see what was going on, gets wide-eyed and gasps. And then Entitled mom falls into hysterics. Entitled mom, what are you doing? Don't just stand there, do something, save him! Despite my now anger, I need no second bidding. I jump in, grab the poor kid for a second time, and pulled him out. Supervisor, please put a life jacket on him next time, or take him to the children's area where he can swim wherever he likes without one. Didn't even say thank you, just shot me a dirty look, signed the incident report, and hauled her shivering child away. How can you not want to punch this lady? That will be all for me for today. Sorry if I sound nasally. I have been getting bad allergies when I was recording. Hopefully it's not a cold. Ahem. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. I'll be back with more reads tomorrow. See ya, guys.